Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, fellow panelists, for the very engaging discussions today. I'd also like to thank ICRIER and Sanjay, the East Asia program, for extending the invitation. The presentation I'm making today looks at the dynamic relationship between technology and human rights from its distant past to the present, and as it seems to evolve in the future. The idea I'm trying to put across is that today we need a broad-based debate and at least a robust mechanism for debate to understand the implications of advancing technologies for broader geopolitics and for human rights. Now, as we understand, human rights are a human construct. Over the history of humankind, the meaning of what holds to be a right and what is in fact who is human has also changed across time. So what is important about the idea of human rights is that it's a shared ideal that we all can look forward to, what we can believe in. And the UDHR talks about the idea of human rights and speaks of them as being universal and inalienable. And it's an interesting ideal to work towards too. That said, it gives us scope to cooperate, and this forms the basis of much of human progress. If we understand an idea among us well, then we can work towards it. When we look at the trajectory of human progress, we realize that much of what we as a species have achieved is because our ability to adopt technology. And we have started using technology since, like, very rudimentary technology is also technology. When we talk about our ancestors moved from hunting-gathering societies to staying in agricultural societies, that was also technological progress. And sometimes when in our current day we talk of technology as information technology, but it has had a huge past, and in many ways the small technological progress over a period of time has helped us reached a stage today where we have sufficient prosperity among us as a collective that enables us to uphold human rights in a very universal sense. So the timing is right, and so that's how it has been happening. Technology, in a way, is supporting the upholding of human rights. Now, what is happening currently in the current trends are slightly different. It's technology can help you advance human rights, and at the same time, it's posing certain challenges. It's affecting human rights by affecting how human beings earn their income. Human rights give us the mandate that every individual has a right to earn a decent wage, a right to work. And by changing the way in which the world economy is producing, it is significantly playing with that right, the right to earn. From an ethical point of view also, technology is posing questions to the idea of life, dignity, and even privacy. For example, let me point out that we are today using autonomous or near autonomous weapon systems, what we popularly know as drones. And these are causing deaths when these are being used without a legal framework that is internationally agreed upon. And the problem with this is that once these technologies are developed, it's very easy for them to be adopted not by just one nation state, but by multiple nation states. So while America is at the forefront of developing this technology, according to Amnesty International, China, Israel, Russia, South Korea, UK are also developing systems that are giving machines greater autonomy to combat. And this has consequences for what it would mean for upholding of human rights. The second issue is that, see, these are technologies that are ready, they can be replicated, and they pose immediate threat. And there is a certain amount of dialogue that is happening, that is concurrent, and people from different parts of the human rights spectrum are talking about it. But there are certain technologies which are developing at a very, very rapid pace, which are not really getting the kind of recognition in terms of what it means for the entire human production framework or the entire human rights framework. Let me just, to be brief, point out things like advances to furthering elongating human life. So in recent terms, we have made great advances in genetic medicine. We can map the genome very easily, and it's no longer a dream that, you know, medicines can be catered to a particular audience. So we also have the science which can any day translate into the technology to develop an engineered baby. But there are ethical implications for this, and there are human rights implications for this. But unfortunately, the debate and dialogue arguing these various viewpoints are located in the West. They're very, in most of Asia, there's a rush to adopt new technology, to look at technology as a vehicle for progress. But there is a little, there is less consensus on proceeding with a little bit of caution in this area. And that's ultimately what I want to point out today, that it's because of its wide-ranging implications for global production mechanisms, for global ethics, for what it will ultimately mean to be human. I think it's an area where you need a wide-range debate. We cannot afford to leave this debate to people who are developing these technologies. It has to be a debate that has to involve people who will be affected by the technology, not just people who are talking about how it will affect the developing world. It has to be a much, much wider and richer debate. Thank you.